Mr. Lawnboy's post
Hello.
himself, Dave Wade.
And there's our lovely guest.
All right, you guys already mid thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
no, we just started.
we just
We never
started.
said we were professional.
Dave, why don't you introduce
Okay.
us to our guest?
Our guest is from Ghastly Tales, from an area Shifty bun. He's a Scotsman, but don't hold that against him, people. And he'd be right up your street, Mr. Burhan, because he makes independent movies with his good friend Mike.
Not like pornography or snuff. I'm out of that.
I'm still in it.
Anyone,
You know,
does
the amount of times I'd film myself choking myself for no reason. Just
Mate, you've got to make money. Never be embarrassed to make a living.
yeah, exactly.
It's just
But-
saying that perfect as well, you'd be the perfect person to have on because Mike got a strike. And I was just saying, when back in the Area Shifty Bun days, you guys were constantly getting fucking abused by YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, we had a spell where we were just going through, just clearing stuff out constantly. Because back before I came onto the channel, Mike and Alan had put a lot of, like trailers and stuff like that up about various stuff, and they used to do a lot of like just review stuff. So it would just be stuff cut from the film up for it. Not fucking uploading things in their entirety or anything. But yeah, they were just chopping through us with a machete. We just about lost the account of it 20 times.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny. We'll back up a little bit for people listening. So, Mike, explain what happened.
Right, basically, it's the same thing that kind of happens on my channel, youtube.com/the Nerd Genius, where someone basically felt that they owned my content and decided to put a copyright strike on it. And it was a Warner Music Group. And I always find that YouTube kind of has an affinity to these type of guys, because as long as they're the big corporations that they're scared of, YouTube will tend to kind of allow them to copyright your video. If you say no, they'll then force a strike on the video. This video has 25 views. It's on our Retro Random Network channel. It's the reason why we can't stream on that channel at the moment, which pisses me off to no end. I've actually tweeted the Warner Music Group and said, for 5 minutes worth of audio, which basically is irrelevant over the fact that me and Dave are
Which was
talking.
supposedly copyright free ananyway.
Yeah. They want to basically claim our entire vid, and I was like, I'm not allowing you to do that. As far as I'm concerned, I think you guys are wrong. You want to take me to court over 25 views? Great. What is that? That's like 0.02 pence? Go for it. You want to get my channel shut down over this? Go for it. And I know
They've
for a
got
fact,
more and more lethal about it as well, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's even it seems to be in the gaming community, people are getting hammered from Nintendo and stuff. Which we spoke about this already, Dave. It's like the most counterintuitive thing ever. People are giving you free advertising and you screw them over for it. But it seems to be funny as well, the automatic flag thing, because we put a short up recently, and pretty much all of it was like music that we'd composed ourselves. But the final part of it, actually, we had a bit of classical music in it, but it wasn't the actual song itself. It was just that particular performance was obviously flagged. So I mean, there's obviously ways to get around it as well, but it just seems pointless. If there's technicalities of it, why even I don't know. Just gets on my tits.
Show you how broken it is. In Mario Kart 8, there's a special feature that lets you upload your race to YouTube.
and Nintendo
awesome.
didn't Nintendo
Yeah.
actually even say this. They went, we will
YouTube
allow
friendly.
you. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
exempt from the copyright thing that we're going to do.
And it's cool because it means you can upload replays and stuff. And if you don't have the potential to do it like I do, when I do my videos, you can actually do it through that, and it's in 1080. And then the minute you do it, it gets flagged. Unless you allow Nintendo to advertise on it, you're not allowed to put it
Yeah,
up.
and what they're doing to get around it now, they're like, well, if you delete all your other videos on your channel, we'll partner you. So we get a share of whatever your Nintendo videos are. So you have to make a Nintendo exclusive channel. I think this is a bunch of bollocks. I think Nintendo are being really long-fisted.
Censorship.
It's about 1984 over
Yeah.
some fucking games.
Yeah, and
Which, as
the
we said,
thing is,
Callum, is we're basically promoting.
they've
I've
now,
bought games for YouTube
in their
videos.
games, they've now put like a little thing saying that they own copyrights for all the characters and everything in the game. I paid 40 quid for this game, or if I paid £60 or $60 for a game, for the US people over there, I expect to stream my game without fucking prejudice. The laws of copyright now are ridiculous. I remember it used to be the fact that if you bought a CD and you basically copied that CD and sent the files and torrented that, that's a violation of copyright. And I agree with that because you're stopping them from making money. I'm not making money on
Home
this shit.
taping is killing games.
Yeah, they tried to shut my channel down a while back over Scribblenauts. Fucking Scribblenauts. You know, and
I shouldn't laugh. I'm laughing because it's the irony there is just
and it's
ridiculous.
because I was doing like I used to do like the E3 commentary, so I would comment on what was going on in E3 and stuff and what we looked to expect. And Nintendo was one of the parties that I was talking about, so I showed some footage. They fucking bombarded me. You know, when I did the when I did the whole upload of the Mario Kart plays, like when we did the little videos that they allowed you to upload onto YouTube, they bombarded it with about 5 or 6 copyright claims. I was like, fuck's sake. You know, as a company, they're really despicable. And I think the term that people use is they're the company that you love to hate. They're kind of the Marmite company. They make so good games. Their games are amazing.
Selling the good name of Marmite with Nintendo.
Well, their games are so good. You know, they know how to manufacture a great game. Whenever I do a review on their games, I'm passionate about it. I love their game. I'm a Nintendo guy. But
they know how to make a bloody cash in as well, though.
Yeah, this is the thing. They don't need the money. It's like... For me, it's like a pissing contest. They're sitting there going, well, if we let you get away with the small things, then you're going to eventually steal money out of our pocket because it adds up. And it doesn't. It really doesn't. YouTube is there...
So you keep saying free promotion.
Yeah, it's there to promote people. And that's the thing. If you have a good channel and you're promoting someone, I do not see the reason why anyone would copyright claim a video. Like Sega's done it recently. I did a Bayonetta review. Sega
went shit crazy a few years ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
What was the role-playing game? It took down one of John Millennium's videos, didn't they?
Yeah, it was Star something.
Anyone out there remember the name? Please tell us. I don't.
It wasn't Fantasy Star, was it? It wasn't Fantasy Star. It was Star.
No. It was because they were basically rebooting a franchise, so they didn't want when taking out people who reviewed the old like Mega CD game or whatever it was, and which was absolutely ridiculous. They also went batshit crazy on Bayonetta when it first came out, didn't they? Yeah,
then they've done it again. They've basically copyright claimed my video on Bayonetta at the moment over footage that I used, footage that I captured from the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 versions, but because Nintendo published the one on the on the Wii U, they can't claim that. They're only claiming my 360 and PS3 footage.
Just going to say, because I was just going to check, see if I haven't checked it for ages, but see if I got one on my video. It's funny though, because going back, what was it? Not November before last, when they really tightened up the copyright, rules and stuff. I played it safe, but I must have deleted about 35 videos. Just not taking chance.
Star Ocean. I think it was called Star Ocean.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think though this has come out of the fact though that YouTube for so many people now is a business.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, we're starting to see a lot of kind of questions of legality coming into it, and that's why things are getting so strictly enforced, because there's people that are making a living off it. So even if something else actually isn't their video, there's people like literally fighting to be like the first person playing something on YouTube. So you can totally see why there's devious tactics being employed of flagging other people's stuff.
It's a stupid system. It's prove you're innocent. It's or you're just guilty outright. And like anyone don't want to put ideas in any dicks' heads out there. Hollywood dicks don't listen to us. No one listens to us. You can just flag it. Because a few years ago, I don't know if I told you this, Cam, a few years ago, someone actually copyright claimed my theme tune on the video where I updated the intro. And I was just like, really? I got to, it was all fixed, but like, really, YouTube? How difficult is it to write a song with my YouTube name? It's got to be pretty fucking difficult to write a naming song. But it means I'm mentioned in it. All of the footage is my footage that I'm in that intro, yeah? How the fuck do they just yeah, you can claim it, right, now prove it's yours. But I don't need to prove it's mine, it's got my fucking name in it.
I know, but they can never copyright you, and that's what's important.
But that's the thing, it's like, Facebook has managed to do that. The whole recent cults going on Facebook is ridiculous. Like how I've got friends being removed from Facebook because they have to prove their identity. It's social fucking media.
It's just people with nicknames and stuff.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the hatchet to fall.
The amazing people from the Happy Console Gamer, Robman and Johnny Millennium, had their channels, had their Facebook pages removed because their real name can't be Man or their real name can't be Millennium. Fuck off. For God's sake.
I'm sure there must, literally, somewhere in the world be someone called Johnny Millennium.
There probably is. I know there's a bunch of people called Michael Burhan. You know, so
if there's some guy called Johnny Millennium, I don't think he's got time for Facebook. He's out there living life.
Yeah, he's living for the millennium. You know, and it as I said, it bugs me. This whole scenario.
This was the next thing I wanted to talk about was this Facebook politics. Yeah, because what annoys me about it is I went back. Someone told me about it, so I went back to change my name back, and it was like, you can't change your name back because you already changed it in 60 days. And I'm like, all right. So basically telling me I can't have that name, but you're not giving me the option to go back to the other name. So you're just basically letting me wait here till someone blows my head off. That's fair.
Yeah, it's as I said, it's one of those things you look at it and think to yourself, why would they go that completely apeshit over people's names? I think it's they've probably entered a new algorithm that if they can't prove or verify your identity, they'll remove you.
Haven't they actually asked some people? I've seen this in my feed. Some people have actually had to prove their identity with their driving license or passport.
Yeah, and that shouldn't happen because there is no right that anyone should have in social media to make you prove who you are. You know, this is.
Well, it's annoying because if they actually check the details behind your account and it's got your name and your address in and it doesn't look that suspicious, then why don't they? You know, why don't they fucking leave you alone? What makes me laugh is I changed it to Lawn Boys Post, but to physically log into Facebook, I have to type my name, my real name, in its entirety. So clearly, this Lawn Boys Post is not there for trolling people, because if I was going to troll people, which I wouldn't do anyway, just before I say this statement, why would I have my real fucking details, you know, traceable on it? It's stupid. It's the stupidest fucking thing ever.
No one should have a right to ask you who you are. Nobody, unless you're claiming for something under Social Security or if you're doing a job application. Facebook is not work. Facebook is social media. It's fun. I could call myself Michael Burhan Testicle if I want to, right? That's
I think you
up to
should
me.
if your channel gets taken down. It's an
No,
option.
but that should be up to me. That shouldn't be up to anybody else. You know, I had an issue when
things of society going right back is the affectionate use of nicknames for people. So why is it such a criminal offence now?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. They're making the problem is these people are making up the rules as much as they want to, and like Zuckerberg's probably getting leaned on a lot from his potential investors because his company is now a public entity, so he has to make all these changes, and they're doing all these security initiatives. And at the end of the day, I'm all for security and I'm all for removing spam ones, but use your fucking common sense. If someone's using their account constantly and you can see their feed, because you can see the feed, right? We're on their network, so they can see what we're posting. Then there should be no reason for you to take down that person's profile. If you can see
at the same time, all right.
Where go, mate?
No, I was going to say though. At the same time, have you ever seen the documentary Catfish?
No.
Yes, I have, and I can understand the whole idea of that, the whole idiom behind it. But in the end of the day, people are going to do that anyway, regardless.
Someone bring me up to speed.
Yeah,
Basically,
Catfish.
Yeah,
all right, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry,
right,
you go.
Catfish is essentially, I mean, I think the guy was a little bit kind of oversensitive and kind of a bit easily led anyway, but essentially it's this guy who ends up making a documentary about, he starts speaking to this, now it sounds really seedy to begin with, but I think he films ballet or something like that, and this little girl contacts him and she says she's done a painting of it. And he's like, oh, your paintings are really good. And he starts chatting with her. And then he starts chatting to who he believes to be her mother and her sister and everything. And he gets involved in this huge family online. And then it all basically transpires that it's just like this one middle-aged woman. Because he goes down to meet them and everything. And I think that came out of the part of the whole thing as well. Because, you know, people aren't necessarily who they say they are online. But you should watch it because it's a pretty elaborate fantasy she creates.
Every time you do the people aren't who they are, or you think they are. It always reminds me of that bit where the phone calls all get crossed on The Simpsons, and then Apu just goes, "Are there any girls here?"
Yeah, it's like I'm supposed to gotta have loads of girls. Where are the girls? like him, Mo, and like loads of other like single guys who just are kind of feeling like crap. But it's at the end of the day, that's going to happen regardless of whether or not you're got your real name or not, because in the end you can pick any name, and as long as it sounds like it's a real name, there's no problem.
Exactly. That means I'm fucked then, because mine and who would be called Lawn Boys Post.
Maybe your parents were just really funny, you know.
True.
Let's get Dave beaten up.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
Well,
Lawn Boys Post.
I had a friend of mine that used to work in the post office, and he actually had a. He went and hand delivered it himself, even though he was at the sorting office. But he had a letter come through, and it was ripped, and it was a deed poll request for a guy to change his name to Snake Plissken.
Oh.
So, you know, it ended up getting ripped, and they would have had to send it back to the guy so he could repost it, stupid as that is. So he was like, nah, fuck this. This guy has to become Snake Plissken. I'm going to make this my mission. So he, you know, took it down to he packaged it up again, took it to the post office and sent it off, and hopefully there's some guy with an iPad somewhere living life. But, just a tangent slightly, have you heard they're remaking it with, what's her name? She was in that Edge of Tomorrow. Anyway, they're meant to be remaking Escape from New York with her as Snake Plissken.
Is nothing fucking sacred?
I still think they should do a continuation. I don't understand why.
He's quite old now. Oh, it didn't stop them doing Indiana Jones.
Bring Kurt Russell back. That's all you need to do. I mean, that can apply to any film.
Snake, couldn't you? You know, matured Snake.
Well, as long as they can overwrite Escape from LA, which is a real bone of contention. There's massive arguments on YouTube.
Doesn't he?
Oh yeah, there's massive arguments online and offline with me and Michael that Michael claims it's a parody, but Michael talks out his fucking arse. The thing is, he thinks that it's a parody of the first one, so it's not meant to be taken seriously, but it's a massive missed opportunity. You've got Bruce Campbell and Kurt Russell in one film, and Steve Buscemi and the fucking rest of them, and you can't just go and make another good movie. To be fair though, the soundtrack was good, but what do you expect from John Carpenter?
I like the box art, if I had to take a positive from it.
The box art is good. Actually, the only copy of it I've got is on video CD.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a lot of arbitrary formats.
And a Laserdisc, which I'm super jealous of.
Yeah, no, the Laserdisc is pretty pimp, but I haven't set it up for ages because it weighs more than me.
Ed T1138 actually offered to send me one for free a few years back, and I was like, I would love you to, Ed, but let's be honest.
Like a player?
Yeah, I said I wouldn't want to be responsible for it being damaged, though, and...
yeah.
How are you going to send that from North America? Because they're notoriously fragile, aren't they?
No, but also the weight of the players is huge. I mean, me and Alan got R1 shipped from down south, and we had a ton of discs with it, but I think it was like we ended up paying like £30 for the player and like 30 discs, and then the shipping was like 30 quid. So, I mean, and that's domestic. So, fuck knows what it would be from the States.
I only need 5 movies on it. 6 movies.
Right.
I need the Star Wars trilogy,
which I'm working on, because you can actually get it's the highest quality version of the non-special edition films that are on Lasercut disc. I'm desperate for it.
Which drove up the prices no end.
Yep.
Obviously, I want Back to the Future because it's the greatest movie in the world ever.
Got the trilogy.
One of the greatest movies in the world. I did say Dave.
Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Yep.
And I want Evil Dead 2.
Actually, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think of the new whole story about the new Ghostbusters? That they're thinking of casting
with women.
Yeah, well, it's not just the women thing. I think the fact that they're like, I didn't have an issue with that they were going to do an all-female cast. It's that I just really think that one, they're rushing it, and two, they're trying to cast Murray as a new character instead of having him return as his old character. And I think if you're not going to basically make it a Ghostbusters movie, then why the fuck are you calling it Ghostbusters?
When Harold Ramis died, I lost interest in the project, I'll be honest. I mean, I was always had waning interest in it anyway, because I was just kind of like, just let it die. But, you know, I don't know.
I don't have a problem with the female cast or anything like that. I just have a problem with, again, don't piss on my childhood. Some things are sacred.
Do you think Ray Parker Jr. will still not make any money from the soundtrack?
The thing is, what makes me laugh about this whole thing is, I think that the way that they're doing it is pissing off the fans, right? The whole sort of doing a whole just female cast bugs me because and it's not, oh, we need a bit of sausage in there. It's more of, I would have liked at least one member of the team, like the guy who was pushing it, Dan Aykroyd, who plays Ray Stantz, the guy who wrote the original script for this. He should be involved. It's his baby anyway. He'll get royalties from this regardless.
And he needs the money. I don't think he's up to much.
Well, he does like cameos and bit parts in movies, so he doesn't really need the
usually
money.
As
And he's made hand over fist over the fucking franchise anyway from everything that he's doing.
He was in Casper.
I know.
I don't know if it was just
turned
him.
around, doesn't he? It was just him. He runs into the house. Sorry, people, spoilers. Well, you must have seen it. I saw that movie in the cinema.
It's like 5 minutes into the film anyway.
Yeah. He runs into the house and then he runs out with his head turned on backwards. And I always find it funny because it's basically just saying, right, so these fucking cuddly cartoon ghosts, managed to do that to him and he was scared and ran off when he fucking saved the world from Zul. Really?
But then, what's it he says? He says, who are you going to call? Someone else?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Who are you going to call? He-Man, He-Man, He-Man.
Yeah. It's funny, but if you remember, at that point in time, something was clearly wrong with the world and Bill Pullman was in every successful movie ever.
That's true.
That, While You Were Sleeping, Independence Day, it was just like the man was just basically walking into a room, floating above water and turning it into wine.
So this is our Independence Day.
Why is he Irish?
I have no idea.
Are they? Is that still on the cards? What was it? Is it going to be a sequel or remade Independence?
No, they're making two sequels to them, and I think he's still going to be able to hack into what's called alien mothership with a G3 PowerBook.
Hey, those are awesome.
Back in the day, well, mine's just sitting in the cupboard, and I can honestly tell you, I've never managed to get into a fucking alien mothership with them. Not that I've come across
throw it
many.
away, you might need it.
I know. Maybe this time they'll come back with a firewall.
Yeah, that's the sequel. This time they got a firewall. We're fucked.
As long as they bring back Jeff Goldblum, I'm on board.
Yeah,
I have to say,
want him to at least say that's one big pile of shit.
Also, the Stargate sequels as well.
Yeah, the film sequels, they're supposed to be not in the Stargate universe. It's
that's right.
Oh, but are they related to the original Stargate film?
No, they're related to the original Stargate, but they ignore, or don't they assume that the TV show's not canon?
Brilliant. That's going to annoy a lot of people, especially Alan. That's great news. That's great news because I've actually got the original on Laserdisc. I've got time for the original. I
like the original movie. I really do. I bought it on Blu-ray for a
I
$5.
just hope they have Kurt Russell in this one. I think,
without a doubt. If they don't, then I'm not on board.
The more Kurt Russell, the better. That's what I think.
I know it was in your feed, Patty. I know it was in your feed, but where do you stand on this?
Oh, she's an ardent TV show fan.
I want to know where Patty stands on this as well because she's been kind of quiet. She hasn't actually mentioned anything. But yeah, it's for me the whole ethos behind studios remaking movies. I think they need to start looking at going back to basic storytelling because I think they've lost that a lot now.
Do you know what? It's not so much a remake because it was handled the right way. Forget what they did with Star Wars, but I have time for the Thing prequel. I might be the only person outside of Mike who likes it. The only problem I have with it is they actually made it with practical effects and then CG'd over the top of the practical effects.
Yeah, that was an absolute disgrace because if you watch any of the behind-the-scenes stuff, it's good. But the thing is, the original one's just untouchable. The animatronics are just unreal. But I think the prequel one had a lot of issues because the thing was, obviously, it was leading on to the other one, so they couldn't deviate in any way or kind of circumvent your expectations. But they also had problems with, if you think about it, in one of the big kind of crucial scenes in the 1982 version is the fact that they do like the blood test.
Yeah.
But they had nothing, they couldn't really redo that in this because how would they know? So they did the thing with the tooth fillings.
That's right.
Which were
the metal bit.
Yeah, which was kind of shite in comparison. But there's always like, I mean, Mike's a big fan of it, Michael Whitehouse over on our channel. But the thing is, he moans about the fact that there's that scene where they're about to take the thing out of the base, and then all of a sudden, like, they start touching down. They don't know why he's touching down. He just goes nuts inside the helicopter and blows it up.
Yeah. I'm still a big fan of it, but yeah, there are a couple of whoppers in there.
Yeah. One thing I will quickly say though, before we go off the Kurt Russell train, have you heard about Bone Tomahawk?
No, what's that about?
Right, Kurt Russell as a sheriff, setting out to rescue a group of captives from cannibalistic cave dwellers in the Wild West.
I'm sold.
Yep.
You had me on Kurt Russell.
Exactly. I know, it's just so
Everything
easy.
else is just a bonus.
He's
Yeah,
making two westerns. He's making a new Quentin Tarantino one.
He put the Tango in Tango and Cash.
Oh.
Too right.
Do you know?
I always, for a film like that, I always wanted to see a sequel. Him and Stallone in a buddy comedy. Because that's literally what that movie was. It was just like two dudes getting into trouble and then getting themselves out of trouble.
Wait,
One of
what
them,
are you doing? So, don't
It was
flatter
buddy
yourself.
cop as far as you could push it.
Yeah. And it was also like the fact that Stallone was actually playing an intelligent person in it as well made me laugh. Because he had
He's
the
meant
glasses.
to have a stupid, like a really high IQ.
Yeah, does he?
Apparently so.
What, who? Stallone?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
How
Mensa.
comes he
He's a
hasn't-
member of Mensa, isn't he?
Yeah, how comes he doesn't have a formula for like how to make a great movie then? Because
He's got a formula for living forever, apparently.
and also, he should have decided against that Botox, that kind of
I know, isn't he going like the whole sort of Burt Reynolds way of he's slowly looking Asian?
Yeah,
He's going the Jackie Stallone way of it. Fucking hell, he's turned into his mum.
yeah.
How's
The
his mum still alive?
problem is though,
Do you know
he's
what-
got Bell's palsy, so he's using Botox. So it's kind of destroying any speech that he has.
Is it not? I'm trying to remember. Was it not like he got hooked in the jaw when he was getting delivered or something? Was it not like
That's what he
surgical
says,
forceps?
but it's Bell's palsy. You could tell.
Yeah.
His mum had it, and his mum talked candidly about it when she did Big Brother, about she had Bell's palsy, and apparently he had it from birth.
Right.
His brother Frank didn't. So, his brother Frank, you can always hear him in like some of the soundtracks that he's done for his movies as well. Which is
I
great.
don't think I've ever seen them in the same room at the same time.
He looks
Just
like
saying.
a thinner sliced Stallone. It's actually quite hilarious.
Although, isn't he in Saturday Night Fever
He is.
on the basketball court bit?
Yeah.
Not that I've seen that movie, because why would I? It's
Well,
an awesome
Saturday Night
movie.
Fever's good, man. Staying Alive was
I've
terrible.
Just got to quickly say before we jump off the Kurt Russell train, which I personally could stay on all night. My favourite story ever, which is on the audio commentary on the Super Whammy edition before Blu-ray came out of Evil Dead 2, where they've got an absolutely amazing audio commentary on that. People with Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi. And
Yeah,
Ted
it's
Raimi.
decent.
And the bit that made me laugh, I loved it, and I rewound it loads, just because you're just like, this is what life's about. When Bruce Campbell talked about the first time he met Kurt Russell, and Kurt Russell just said to him, "Say it." And he's like, "What?" He said, "Say it." He said, "Say what?" And just say, "Tool shed." Genius.
Yeah, I know. I wish Kurt Russell would come and do that to me. I don't know that.
Plus
I'd have
that
any reason to say
brilliant bit where they
tool shed,
give you the little behind the scenes, which I love about it. This is when people say to me, "Why do you always buy the most expensive version of something?" And like, because I like special features. Call me a nerd. I like special features. I love the bit, when the woman's spinning around sideways before she puts her hand in the face and throws the bloke into the wall, and all that goo comes out her ear, and you think, "Oh, that's amazing attention to detail." No, it wasn't. It just turned out it was really hot in that suit, and he sweated, and he filled his head up with so much sweat that when they hung him sideways, it dribbled out his ear. Awesome.
Evil Dead 2 is an absolute masterpiece. It's actually, there's parts of it that actually feel like an art film, which is the strangest thing
No,
about
I
it.
agree with you. When she comes out of the ground and starts doing ballet in stop motion.
Oh, you're talking about Evil Dead. That's
No,
Evil Dead.
it's Evil Dead too.
Is it? Oh yeah, you're right, because it's just the two of them. Yeah, that's actually a really weird sequence. And then of course the talking deer as well in the mirror. Yeah, I haven't seen it for ages, but interesting fact, you were talking about the Laserdisc of it. The Laserdisc for Evil Dead 2 is red.
It's red.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Well,
bought
it's
the
actually the bottom of it.
I bought the tin edition of it. I've got the special edition tin, so it has like there's two versions of it. There's the Necronomicon version, so you can get it in the Necronomicon itself.
Foamy book thing. I've got the tin edition as well, where
yeah.
it's a tin, but inside it's in a regular CD case.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's really nice. So it's really well done. You've got like a making of little book in there as well and stuff. And it's really like panned out. But I literally had a conversation with Bruce quite recently, and it's actually a funny conversation because he basically tells me that he's sold out. It's one of those where, because he prides himself on being a B-movie actor. You know, a lot of his fan base and everything that he's come from is kind of like.
Just have to say, by the way, people, I absolutely adore Burn Notice.
Yeah, I do too. Apart from the final episode was shit.
Is it finished now? Because I think I got about the last series I remember watching. It was like the series finale, and what's his face jumped out of a helicopter into the water. That's the last thing I remember seeing. So I maybe like season 3, season 4, but I haven't watched past that.
Well, basically, they do this dangerous thing that a lot of TV shows at the moment tend to do. Like Sopranos did it, Dexter did it, where they try and wrap everything up in one go. And
Dexter's final series was a nightmare.
It was terrible. I refused to. I watched 2 episodes and then I refused to watch any more.
I
tell people not to watch past season 4.
Yeah, you know, John
Like
Lithgow.
Battlestar Galactica. I loved Battlestar Galactica up to season 3. Well, season 3 was brilliant, and I'm a completist, so I own the rest of them. But I've never actually watched them, so I don't even know how it ends because I watched a few of them and just went, "What the fuck did you do to this absolutely amazing show?"
Yeah, it's got a real fucking weird ending, isn't it? And because it's meant to be the whole idea that do they not like populate the Earth?
Well,
like,
I'm not going to give spoilers because I can't. I just know that the last part of it. Well, don't worry about it. 'Cause I'm never going to fucking watch it. I just know I saw a bit of it on YouTube and just went, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, unfortunately, Battlestar Galactica ends up without Battlestar Galactica, and then you kind of. It's not really Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, but when it started off, first of all, you were like, "This is never going to work. This is never going to work. This is amazingly, surprisingly quite good."
Yeah, I don't know. It started. I think the problem with Battlestar Galactica was that they were kind of going for the whole realism thing. So like the ship was kind of constantly falling to bits.
I kind of like that.
But no, I digged it. But there was only kind of so far they could take that, and then obviously the other ship was the Pegasus, and one of the best episodes they had was the Battlestar facing off against the Pegasus. Yeah. Which you wanted to root for Battlestar, but you kind of Galactica, but you kind of knew that the Pegasus probably would have knocked the fuck out of it. But the whole thing was that I think there's spoilers, but there's one of the kind of seasons where they eventually like sacrifice the Pegasus, even though it's like a far superior and much better condition ship, just to keep the namesake going.
It still runs better than Galactica. But then I did like the fact the main spoilers. The main premise, the fact that the reason they had Galactica in the first place was it was about to be retired and was antiquated, and that's why the Cylons didn't get that to fuck
it was in the what do you call it in the museum, and it wasn't connecting up to the computer network. That was essentially, though I can't quite remember how Pegasus managed to circumvent that. Or was it not getting repaired or something?
Explain it. I can't remember now because I'm going to have to watch that episode again because it's a fucking amazing one. Even though the captain, sorry people, spoilers of the Pegasus is a psychotic bitch, but
she's very well cast actually. She does a good job.
And there you go. This comes back to me talking about Bill Pullman. Isn't his wife from Independence Day the bird who is, I forget her character now, but she's in it. There you go. Almost quite good movie trivia there, if I could remember her name.
That woman is in that show, maybe.
That's it. Well, there you go. Plug a show. What shows are you into right now? What tickles your fancy?
I am kicking off the final series of Sons of Anarchy at the moment. It's kind of a semi... It's an alright show. It's had good moments, but some moments it just goes into like utter nonsense.
It tends they tend to do like filler episodes, don't they, with shows like that? They have the main storyline and they do like the filler fucking episodes, and then they rush everything into like a conclusion.
Yeah, and it's a kind of strange way of doing it, but I think they almost they always try and throw stuff in because, and I don't want to be make generalizations, but I think a lot of the time with the American audience, they've been kind of cultured to expect that now.
Yeah.
Like these kind of fast burn shows at points, but it's got some of the worst Irish accents of all time. And they go to Belfast at one point, and there's not a single Irish actor. It's fucking shocking. I mean, the problem is, you know, it's beautifully highlighted by the fact that you can't even get guys to properly say the word IRA. It's not even a word. It's 3 letters, but they still can't manage to say it.
How do they say it?
It's just like RRA.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like whenever I see anyone do like a faux accent, like I was watching this this Canadian drama that was supposed to be set in Texas.
Nice.
And the granddad was supposed to be American, and he was really animated. He looked like he was drugged out of his head, and he's trying to talk like this throughout the whole film. And I'm like, okay, that's probably how people from Texas sound. I don't know. And then you've got these really bad American accents going on as well. So you've got like these Canadians trying to be American, and then this guy trying to sound like he's from Texas. And I was just sitting there just watching it going, what the fuck is wrong with the show? It's either hilarious or bad.
I mentioned it on the movie show last night, but on Top Gear, the one last week, before last week, that had Kiefer Sutherland on as a guest. Jeremy Clarkson just introduced him in the greatest way ever that I demand. Well, I demand you never die, Kiefer Sutherland. But I demand they put this on his tombstone. It's the epitaph, and it just says, I'm introducing the greatest Englishman who's Canadian but lives in America.
Yeah, apparently Patman says his wife plays the president in Galactica.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. The woman with the glasses.
Yeah.
Did she end up not having a slight romantic entanglement with James Earl? Is there not a little bit of middle-aged love goodness going on from memory?
James Earl? Well, don't you mean almost?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Edward James Olmos. That's the one.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
It's completely unbelievable.
Hey, well, they've got to get a bit of sex into the show.
Yeah, because if you look at his face, right, it's true. I've heard that if you punch him in the face, you'll lose your hand.
That's the face that's seen 1,000 dead replicants.
Plus, there's a nice little nod, going back to Galactica people, when it was still good, in the miniseries, which was brilliant, when they're in the museum and there's an original Cylon in a case.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Because, I don't know, I always couldn't really get my head around how they were linked, because it was supposed to, there was an original Cylon war or something, wasn't it? And then they came back looking, I don't know, I never liked the Cylon
designs. There's a reference to it where they kind of skip around details and just give you a little bit of a feed, and then kind of says, right, you fill in the rest.
Well, I don't know, it was a strange one. I never liked the Cylon designs in the remake.
I kind of did, but I just wish they were too skinny.
Yeah,
I know they were bigger, but you know what I mean? You know the story about the original plan for Battlestar Galactica, don't you? The Second Coming.
What they were making a new TV series, weren't they? Originally,
no. It's really interesting.
They did. They made one where they made Battlestar Galactica, and then they made the other one.
There was 1981 as well, or something.
Oh no, that's Battlestar Galactica 80, which is fucking shit. Although it does have the lost episode of the original series right at the end called The Return of Starbuck, which I watched last night because it's on YouTube and it's a fucking amazing episode.
It's a great episode. The fact that he's on his own and he does all this acting alone. And he also
is that the one where he makes pals with the Cylon?
He reprograms them, yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What's it? No, don't call me Cy, call me friend." And then, sorry, people, spoilers. He dies.
Yeah, and the fact that Starbuck basically
and
he has the shuttle and there's only one room for one person, and instead of him going, he sends the baby.
And he explains the geeky kid, doesn't it, from Battlestar Galactica, and it's how the fucking second coming of Jesus or whatever turns out to be that weird geeky kid that Adama lets fucking lead Battlestar. Really? I don't give a shit that you're the second coming of some fucking... He's not really the second coming of Jesus, but he's supposed to be this amazing kid. I'd be like, I don't give a shit, mate. No offence, right? But you ain't sitting in that chair till you're at least 18 and fucking legally entitled to fly a starship.
Plus, you don't really need a battle. You know, you don't really need Jesus anymore when you've got a Battlestar.
Yeah. Do you know what? For years, I didn't realise that they had launch tunnels on both sides.
They do.
Yeah, because you only ever saw it from one side, didn't you? And then,
yeah, they only ever, probably because I think they had about 10 Vipers left.
I
No, but
heard it cost $1 million
was...
an episode. That's why they got rid of the original. And when they bought it back and said we're going to film it on Earth because doing stuff on Earth is cheap. But I heard that because all the space stuff is just shots that they've recycled. But I heard
it was crazy over budget, the original Galactica, because it came off the back of Star Wars, and they're like, give us a...
And in some countries, wasn't it? The original was actually the first 2 episodes were edited together, and new footage was added, and they were a movie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was over here. I love the original series. I got to say though, it was $1 million an episode in what was it, 1978?
Wonder what that is for inflation. That must be.
And so basically, it wasn't cancelled because it wasn't popular. It was cancelled because it was crippling the studio.
That's happened a lot though. That's what happened to Manimal, one of my mum's favourite shows.
And Ultraman. Anyone remember Ultraman?
Ultraman as well. Yeah, they watched that the other day. The reason why they cancelled it wasn't because it wasn't doing well in the ratings. It's because they couldn't justify the budget. And the funny thing is, nowadays I could probably make that show on my laptop. It's
also out of interest. How much was $6 Million Man an episode?
I don't know, but if you made a $6 Million Man now, he'd be obsolete and be running on Windows 95.
Well, they tried to redo it with the woman from EastEnders.
She had a pretty good American accent in that as well, the Bionic Woman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course she didn't come back as a Bionic Man.
I think the irony with the Bionic Man, which $6 Million Man, I love it. I've got the originals on DVD. The irony as an adult, because he completely believed it as a kid, was you can actually make someone look like they're running super fast by making them really slow.
Yeah.
And jump over fences.
Yeah. And then just cut. And then, oh look, he's slightly further down the road. Cut. Even further in the distance.
Do you remember
Patmus says, "Oh God, I miss Manimal." Yes, you do. You do, Patmus. They're making. Apparently, there's a remake with not Colin Farrell, Will Ferrell, who's going to be playing it in a Manimal movie. I'm
so they're going to go
that.
the route they did with Bewitched and ruin something else.
Yes.
Colin Farrell would be hilarious.
No, yeah.
My name is Manimal, you bastard.
Yeah. Then they just chin the cameraman.
Yeah. Well, sorry. What were you saying, Mac?
Yeah, sorry. No, I was saying either that or Colin Firth. I was just thinking of a range of really, big list of inappropriate actors named Colin.
I call Gambon.
But I did love Manimal though. The fact that he would just it would be heavy breathing and panting, and then he would change into something. Imagine if he was taking a shit, and he takes a big dump and turns into a panther.
I just got to say, there is one reboot or remake I would actually endorse openly, only if I can pick the cast, and that would be Kroll.
But saying that, I liked the A-Team movie. I thought that was really good. For all the exceptions, it had everything that the series had. It took it up a notch, of course, and the characters were really interesting. I didn't see a problem with the A-Team movie, but apparently people hated it, and it didn't make.
I actually like the Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Did they not blow up the van in the first 10 minutes or something?
That's probably why people hated it. Yeah, don't piss on people's childhood, people. Come on. That's.
Imagine if they made prequels to Star Wars. That would be disgraceful.
You're maybe getting a May release.
What's that?
J.J. Abrams has asked for a summer release.
Ooh. It should be a summer movie. Oh no, actually, because the original Star Wars, at least in this,
May 25th
was a summer release in the States, but a Christmas release in this country, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was May 25th was the original release of the 1977 one. So they were talking about potentially doing it for that. I think they want something that's going to go head to head with Age of Ultron. But to be honest, I think putting two movies on at the same time is going to hurt you, not help you.
Not really, because I think if you're fans of both, you're going to go and see both anyway.
But some people aren't going to have the money to go to both.
Yeah.
I mean, there is
That's
going
true.
to be that scenario. The
That's
cost
true.
of the tickets these days.
Yeah,
Well,
basically
cinemas-
me, because I work in a supermarket.
Well, cinemas are basically just like obsolete now anyway, truthfully. They're barely...
Cinemas.
Yeah, they're barely thriving. Because the
I
entertainment
can fix the whole
platform...
cinema situation right now. You ready for this? I
Go
can
on.
tell you how you can fix it, right? If your food was cheaper than the supermarket equivalent, you can keep your ticket prices as they are, and people would go.
Well, I think Cineworld's got a good way of doing it, which is basically you have the Cineworld card, and
Yeah, the unlimited card.
yeah, and I want to get one of those, but at the moment it's between that and kind of paying my rent. You have the unlimited
It's a big
card.
commitment, that though. This is the problem. I mean, I've got the Cineworld across the road from my flat, and it's we've got a useless fact. It's the tallest cinema in Europe, not the biggest, but the tallest. Actually, no, not Europe, the world. So fucking useless claim to fame there. Anyway, but it's something like $17.99 a month, I think, for the unlimited card. And I mean, there's definitely months where you could use it. I mean, this month I went to see Whiplash, American Sniper, and there were a couple other movies, Birdman, and a couple other ones. So like I well overspent. But there's going to be plenty of months where I'm not going to be going to see anything, and most of the people I know that have got the unlimited card end up just going to movies for the sake of it. And it's like your time isn't free, so if you're just putting two hours into a movie that you don't give a fuck about just to get the value of your card,
It's the sort of thing that pays off in a good summer, absolutely immediately, and then when it comes to that awkward period between autumn and Christmas, you ain't fucking using it, are you? Let's be honest.
12-month minimum contract, so you can, you're fucked either way.
I was just going to say though, true story, Calum. The only time I've been to Glasgow, by the way, when I still had a real job, because, and I don't know if it's still true now. I'm not saying anything bad about you, lovely Scots. I'm glad you decided to stay in the Union. Was I wasn't allowed. They hired. It was the only time they spent loads of money and hired us a hotel that had everything, like its own bar, like proper bar, like pub inside the building, in ballroom and arcade room, because we weren't allowed. I don't know where exactly we were, but we weren't allowed outside of the hotel because we were English.
Where did you stay?
I got to find out. I've got it in an old diary, because I used to keep a diary because I had to, because of for like expenses. I'll find it and I'll send it to you later on. But I just remember thinking, is it that bad? I was scared. I was like,
No, it's not, to be honest.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying this is my company, be health and safety. Just,
Well,
I mean,
guess
there's
that's well
bits
known.
of it. There's bits of it that people are fucking idiots. But you go to any city and there's bits where there's fucking idiots. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of bits in England I could come down to and get exactly the same bother.
Well, the one
Bristol,
thing,
Saturday night.
the one thing I remember from Scotland was the fact that, because I went up there with a touring panto company, and one of the things I remembered was the place we stayed in was so cold, because what he did, the landlord was so cheap. It was a well done place, beautiful place, but he was so cheap. He locked the thermostat in a box.
I hope you're not suggesting that what they say on TV, that little wonderful humorous joke about the Scots being cheap, is true, Mr.
No, that's true. That's true.
But what he did though, he sold us the wood so we could do, because he had a wood burning fire in there as well. He's like, if you want to heat the place up, all you got to do is like
Well,
shove the wood
Scottish
in
accent
there.
surprisingly
Irish?
Irish.
Yeah,
You could be on Sons of Anarchy.
I could be. If he's just like saying to me that I could just basically heat the place up by just like throwing wood in the wood fire. So I was doing that, and the wood fire would always die down. And literally, when I get up at 5 a.m. to go to our next touring place, my balls were ice frozen. I get in the shower, and the shower's not even hot because the boiler doesn't work, because he switches the boiler off at night because it's all connected to his own place, and it was ridiculous. And I sat there and I
I think
always
you
used
need to review this place on Trafalgar.
Well, I
Yeah.
complained to him about it because he was like going to me, "Oh, make sure that you tell
Now he's English.
he goes like, you tell the panto company." Well, I was trying to do the Scottish accent, but then I'm going to probably just end up sounding Irish again. He
Let's do
goes,
a Mel Gibson accent, that works.
or Sean Connery. He's like, "Yeah, I'll do Sean Connery." Sean was like, "Yes, make sure that you tell them that you had a very good time."
Sounds more like Frank Sinatra.
You, sir.
Who loves you, baby?
Smell like a donkey.
Yeah.
Now get out.
I'm
Even Scottish people
surprisingly
can't do
Scottish.
Sean Connery's accent, like Sean Connery's got a completely unique accent. It's
He
not
is.
even
He's a
Scottish
Scotsman who doesn't have a Scottish accent yet.
and lives in Spain.
Yeah. And therefore, when this is what I found funny actually.
And his wife
with
is
the whole
French.
Scottish independence thing was he was saying, you know, we should be independent. You don't live there.
Yeah, there was a lot of people actually piped up about it that, you know, either it doesn't matter which way anyone voted, but, you know, there's a lot of people that piped up about it that were kind of weren't really related to it or were, you know, quite happily living somewhere else where it's like, yeah, you know what, let's vote independence because it might make it more interesting when I come back for a fucking holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's like the whole thing. Well, like you still have people who are overseas citizens talking about British politics, and you're just like, you're not here. What fucking right do you have to vote here if you're not living here? You know, but we're still
You're
British
gonna affect
citizens.
the
No, you're
lives
not.
of
You're living in
people who
fucking
live
LA.
here.
Everyone's got an opinion. That's the problem.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, for the most part, I mean, I've got electricity and gas heating here and the internet. So for the most part, we're okay in Scotland now. Colour TVs and stuff like that. But a fact I like to always tell people about Scotland is, like, in the year I was born, back in 1990,
Oh my god, I'm old.
Glasgow was simultaneously the murder capital of the world and the culture capital of Europe.
I remember that actually, the culture thing.
Yep. So
And
that
then a
was
couple
all.
of years later, it was Liverpool, and I remember thinking, really?
It was
Yeah, I
fun.
think they
I
made-
have to admit, when I was up there, it was fun. I enjoyed myself. It was just really cold.
You know, it's a great place, and especially there's plenty of places you go out, and everyone will always, you know, seek to give you a good time. But I think it does, particularly Glasgow, gets a pretty bad rap. But to be honest, at the same time, a lot is deserved. There's been some bad shit.
Funny, right? I remember when I was Skyping Mike, Irish Shifty Bun Mike, Ghastly Tales. Your Mike. That sounds really weird. It was summer over here. Over here? Oh my Christ! I just made you North America. It was summer down here. There you go. I rephrased it. And I'm not a fan of heat. I'm really not a fan of heat. And I was explaining to him, it was like fucking 31 degrees, and I had a fan on. One of those fans you can put ice packs in. And I was still, you know, had Betty Swallocks. And I remember saying to him, do you know what? Every day when I look at the weather report on TV and my eyes scroll up, because Bristol's not on the map on BBC, you have to look at Cardiff, and that's pretty much our temperature. And I said, my eyes scroll up and I see lovely Scotland and it says 16 degrees. I think, fuck you, Scotland. That's not fair.
Do you know, the last couple of years when the summers have been hot, I mean, we had some like couple of 30-degree days, but no, I am shit with the heat actually, which is pretty well documented. There's actually there was a behind the scenes thing we did for, it's a project that's still going on, but we were filming it like in winter and like 3 in the morning, and everyone's got like 40 layers on. And I'm just walking about in a t-shirt because like I don't know whether I've just kind of got partially ice in my blood or what it is, but I'm much more comfortable in the cold.
Yeah, I am. I've been called by previous girlfriends a space heater, and they've turned their heating off at night.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, that's when you get those really awkward social situations where like people shake your hand. Like I had this situation the other day, and normally women do it, but it's more creepy when men do it, and they shake your hand. And they go, "Oh, you've got lovely warm hands," and then they hold on. They hold on to your hands for a bit, and when it's kind of a woman, you just kind of like you just kind of like give them 5 seconds, and you go, "All right, fine, just let them go." But when there's a guy doing it and then locking you in a really intent eye contact, you're just like, "Yeah, this feels a bit strange."
I've suddenly discovered is the greatest phrase for politely making people realise they're being idiots. Because if someone did that to me, I would just say, "Elephant in the room," and it works for everything.
That's a fair point, actually. Or what you could do is just test his comfort level by slipping one of your hands out of the handshake and kind of slowly running it past his wrist and see how far he wants to commit to this. But then that could also backfire as well.
Yeah. Especially if it's in Glasgow, because he'd chin me, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's true. Well, we pretty much just greet each other with headbutts anyway.
I heard that. That's why I'm not coming there.
So yeah, well, that's the thing as well. We've got, a Glasgow kiss is famously known as a headbutt's famously known as Glasgow kiss, and then a Glasgow smile, as famously portrayed by the Joker in The Dark Knight. as you know, when you've got the side of your face slashes. So it's always nice to have a few permanent disfigurements named after your.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, big tits in, you know, my neck of the woods are referred to as Bristols.
Nice.
I like your Bristols. Slap. Oh, you have lovely warm Bristols. Sorry. Burhan, are you still alive?
Oh, well, I'm not sure about that. That doesn't sound too positive.
Let me rephrase that. Burhan, are you still awake? I heard if you say his name 5 times, he appears in the mirror and kills you.
Is he still connected to the call? Let me check. Are you still connected to the call?
He's gone for a cheeky slash. Not
That's
told
possible. I wonder if that's a subtle suggestion that we were talking too much.
Maybe, or it might be like with movie show last night and he has a female phone call. But it does mean this call has now landed with the really awkward problem, which is you can't leave till he comes back, Calum, sorry.
I can't help but think, see, I mean, I was kind of maybe thinking I might do an hour, and there's only 4 minutes left, so I'm thinking if I cruise up to the hour and he's still not there, you need to do some kind of like William Shatner-esque soliloquy.
I don't know how to end the show.
Well, there's a big red hang up button.
Yeah, but he initiated the call, so does that work?
Well, I'll tell you what, it gets you out of hot water.
Yeah. Hang on a second, let's see if he sent me a message.
This is, I think they affectionately refer to this as dead air.
Yeah. No, it's never dead air. No, we're being, you know, multicultural now with an English.
Was that not a movie with Nicolas Cage?
Yes. Oh, Nicolas Cage. I remember when you were good. Oh wait, you weren't.
Yeah, snap. We've kind of been doing the live streams for a little bit now, with the Ghastly Tale stuff, but we've been talking about the idea of actually getting like a 4G router and then just going out to like a graveyard and doing one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I demand. I also demand, but this was just because it was one of my favourite shows, another episode of A Bun in the Oven.
I know, we need to bring that, but there's talk that if we manage to get to where we want to be with Ghastly Tales, we will bring Area Shifty Bun back, but at the moment we just don't have time to run them both.
I'm not going to lie, I have to be honest, I really, really miss Area Shifty Bun.
It was good times, I think.
I miss your movie retrospectives you do, when it's you 3 sat around a table.
Have you seen, we have a new series on Ghastly Tales, which I came up with the other day, called The Horror of Netflix, and we're looking through Netflix to find obscure horror films and reviewing them.
That works.
We just did Michael Mann's 1983 film The Keep. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Yes. So that's turned up on Netflix, and I believe it's the Laserdisc edition.
Oh, nice.
I've actually got a lot of time for that movie, even though like the original cut's meant to be 3.5 hours, and the film that's released was an hour and a half. So there's some pretty weird pacing in it.
I know I'm going to repeat myself, but I have to say it's my holy grail is to have a laser display. It really is. It's just one of those things that I would absolutely love.
I think the biggest problem with getting them, like I said, is the shipping. I mean, you can get them in the UK. My next conquest is an HD DVD player.
I heard that if you want to get one of the more reliable ones that you can ship, I'm just basing this on hearsay. When I did research it, is by a Pioneer.
Yeah, well, it's a Pioneer I've got. It's actually half mine, half Alan's, but it's a pretty sturdy bit of kit. The flap you need to hold up now because it took a bit of a knock, but it's a super karaoke version as well. But the other thing about it as well, you can get all different ones. Like there's ones that you can put CDs in the centre of it.
Oh, right.
They'll play CDs as well.
Did you ever see James Rolfe's review of all the Laserdisc players he has in his collection on Cinemassacre?
Yes, I did.
He had that absolutely amazing one where you actually stuck a cartridge in.
Yeah, that was the because there was all the games and stuff for Laserdisc too, which like Road Blaster, which I remember I played like yonks ago on Area Shifty Bun.
Which is the best version on the Laserdisc, obviously. I played it on the Mega CD and it was pretty shit out on that, but.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Well, it's Road Avenger and then Road Blaster. I think is the two different titles. I think Road Blaster was on the Laserdisc, and then there was, I think, Road Avenger, but that might be like a regional thing again.
I have to say, I'm the only person, even though I know it's basically invented QuickTime events. I'm probably one of the only people who actually really liked Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, Dragon Slayer is kind of strange because it's one, as you say, it's like the precursor to these whole interactive movie type things. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that have got a concern that games are gradually, or not even gradually, like massively hammering towards that. It's been ages since I've played anything actually.
Do you want to know a really, really surprisingly amazing version of the Dragon Slayer arcade game that you won't believe?
Is it the one on the Game Boy?
Yes.
I remember. I saw your review.
I couldn't believe it when I played that. I was like, as a kid, I wanted it. I demanded it, and the Spectrum version was shit. The second game was alright.
Mm-hmm. It looked pretty competent actually.
The Game Boy version is just absolute. I'm like, how the fuck did you do this?
Well, to talk about retro revivals, Mike eventually persuaded me around to get it, and I haven't been on it for a while, but I hammered tons of time into it. I've been playing Elite Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous? I've never heard of that game.
Elite Dangerous.
It's the remake or reboot. Or is it a remake or a reboot or continuation?
It's continuation, I guess.
I've heard very good things about it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting actually, but I think I did the kind of thing that I always do. Install it and then, fucking play it to oblivion and then have to take a break from it. I did the same thing with Alien Isolation.
I love Alien Isolation.
It's great.
I will say this to people. No one believed me at work until they played it, but I say that game is genuinely scary.
It's awesome. I think, that's...
it has that whole first-person survival horror thing, which is what an Aliens movie is supposed to do. Because whenever someone goes,
less is more.
Yeah,
what was great about it.
Exactly. By the way,
it had a series to save as well. I mean, after Colonial Marines and all that shit.
Yeah. You know what though? I actually liked Aliens versus Predator. Just the Marine.
Yeah, no, they were enjoyable.
The Marine campaign was too short. The Alien one just made me feel sick if I'd had a couple of beers with the whole flipping and going around the roof, and then who would have known that running onto the roof would make the room completely unnavigable because you're suddenly upside down.
Oh, by the way, Callum, before you go, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Because Miguel's kind of like bugging me about this because he thought the show was going to be about, this today. What is your favourite place to eat?
Oh, it was going to be about this, but we got Calum on, so we had to,
No, but we can talk about it when he departs. But I want to see.
Well, I don't necessarily need to go. I was kind of keeping it to that time just because I'm fucking knackered. But favourite place to eat? Good question.
Wales.
Preferably somewhere where you can drink. I'm a big Japanese fan. I like noodle bars, kind of sitting about in a vaguely Blade Runner-esque way.
Oh yes,
and big long coats.
Noodle bars should be based on Blade Runner. I think this is his idea. People don't nick it. Patent that right now.
Well, this is something I was telling you the other day. Like, it's one of my biggest regrets that I was never, born of a different generation. But there used to be a Jedi bar in Glasgow.
Oh,
that
my
sounds
God.
Totally and utterly fucking epic.
It's now, it's now
a cost cutters or a pound shop, isn't it?
No. It's the most hipster place ever. It's the outside of it looks like a pawnbroker, but it's actually a club.
Oh yeah, you take that.
Yeah.
You take that club.
So yeah, I'd probably have to say a noodle bar, but I don't know. I like my food, as my frame will testify to.
I have to say, one of my favourite, going on a random tangent, but kind of related, one of my favourite videos, because it involves booze, and not food, but it'll make sense when I reference it. Going back to Area 50 Bum was when you went to, and I laughed my ass off at the start, when you went to Chinatown.
China building.
China building.
Oh. Do you know, it really annoys me actually because there's it's part of a huge unit next door that's an outdoor world that now lies vacant, and I ever say that if I've got a stupid amount of money sitting around for like a project and never will probably see the dividends back from, I will buy that and then just make it into a massive Chinatown. Just spend half my time there.
Yeah. Does it please, and this would be a reason for me to visit Glasgow alone, please tell me that China Building still has Chase HQ.
It does. The wheel is fucked. But there, I also find 2 more arcade machines up the front and a Postman Pat ride on. So
that's weird.
Take from that what you will.
You ride on Postman Pat. You do that.
Yeah. I heard you like riding Pat.
But the Samurai Showdown's the only one that's left with the audio, and the whatever Golden Axe one it was at the end still works as well. So.
Oh, nice. Burhan, what's your favourite place to eat? Or favourite tipple of food? Tipple of food? I don't know.
Basically, my favourite place to eat. There's a couple of places because I'm toying with the idea of doing a foodie thing on my YouTube channel, which is
quick self promotion for me, by the way. People, if you want to see my favourite 5 crisps you can buy, check out my video yesterday.
There you go. But for me, like ever since I did this kind of diet thing, because one of the things that I did, Calum, was my father passed away like 3 years ago this month, and I decided to go on this huge sort of diet health kick thing. So I gave up all the things that I loved, like weed and drink, and went on a whole diet thing. One of the motivations for this diet is you be good for the entire week. You have your basic like white protein, your white meat and stuff, and then during the week you can eat. During the weekend you can have like the nastiest thing you could think of. So one of the places I went to was a place called Tinseltown. It's expensive in a sense where you're paying 20 quid for a meal, but the thing is I got this burger, and it's called the basically the what was it, the Towering Inferno, and it has 4 stacks of burgers. It has 4 stacks of burgers.
Keep talking.
It's
your shit the next day must have been so dense.
If you're fapping while I'm talking about this, then you have
I'm just slowly removing my trousers.
You have beef bacon, because I don't eat like pork, so you have beef bacon in this, and you also have jalapenos out the wazoo, because I love jalapeno peppers.
Jalapenos? What's a jalapeno? Is that like the Japanese version of a jalapeno?
That's right, yeah. And the other one, jalapenos.
Yeah.
Which you always hear as well.
But you have these things, and you put it in there. And I ate this burger. I had a large milkshake with it as well, like a strawberry milkshake with like
Did you feel your arteries hardening as you ate this?
Then I had a salad before that. And literally, I was basically showing photos of me eating this burger, and Larry Bundy Jr. put a post at the bottom of, "Did you get the meat sweats yet?" I think that's the one thing we both have in common, which is our food. And afterwards I was dead. I was literally wasn't shitting right for 2 days after eating this burger. But it was the most amazing food experience I've had. And it's not the first time I've been there. Once I took a date there, and she was so impressed because I had a lasagna before eating that burger. And she just looked at me as like, she actually rang me the next day and went, "Are you alive?"
You should have taken the lasagna, put it inside the burger without breaking eye contact with her.
I did.
And then just ate it.
A lasagna top burger.
It was so funny because she's like she was the tiniest woman, and she just went, "You know what? I so want you right now." She was like, "You're so sexy," in the most sarcastic.
Said, "Sorry, love, I want the meat sweat."
Yeah, in the most sarcastic way ever. But I was sitting there undoing my belt, going, "I'm so dead." And she just looked at me.
Is that a really kind of casual way to gradually, like, like transition into, like actually getting your trousers off? Oh, that was a big meaty burger I just had there, slowly sliding down your trousers. Hope you don't mind if I just unbutton my trousers.
Would you like my big meaty burger of jalapeno peppers?
I have to unload some of this meat. Can I quickly ask you, what's your opinion of beef bacon?
I love it.
I've never had it.
I basically, the thing is, when I decided to get off pork, because we used to eat pork until we realised we were Muslims. This is back in my childhood. It was so funny. My dad was so nonchalant about it. It was like one day he just came up to us and like, "You're not supposed to eat pork anymore." "Why?" "Because we're Muslims." What the hell's that? And we went to mosques and everything like that. Now I'm agnostic now, because I believe religion is kind of a fallacy in my own opinion. My opinion, people, don't kill me for that.
Yeah, sorry, Jesus.
Sorry, Jesus. But yeah, I basically, I'm agnostic now, but I still don't. It's kind of one of those things where I don't eat it because of principles. Like, I don't eat it because I don't like the taste of it anymore. It doesn't taste right to me. So I've
Oh,
eaten
yeah, I
bacon
just don't enjoy it
substitutes.
as much as the other meat groups.
Well, I have like turkey rashers, for instance, great bacon substitute.
Oh yeah, they're fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
You should
to
mix
eat.
them with bacon though in a sandwich. Oh, Christ,
Well,
that's
what I
amazing.
do is I usually have it in. I fry it with butter, and then I put cheese on top as well, and it's amazing. But
That's
yeah, beef bacon.
Everyone, check out my picture on my timeline.
Beef bacon is
from 2
amazing.
days ago, called,
Also,
Start Your Day
if
with Thorn
you
Boy
guys
Way,
wanna eat a
see the
pizza-
greatest breakfast sandwich.
There's a place in Twickenham called Super Pizza, and they do super extra large pizzas, which is a pizza that's the size of like your bed. If you've got a single bed, it's like that big. I've had 3 of those when I was having a fat day.
What, in one sitting?
In one sitting.
Sans lasagna?
No, I didn't have the lasagna with this one, but I had that 3 sittings of like pizzas, and one of them had bacon on it, so I kept picking the bacon off and then eating the rest of it. And my mates were just sitting there looking at me, going, "Aren't you full yet?" It's like, "Nope, got hollow legs. I'm gonna finish this."
The only reason I ask about the beef bacon, I was going to say, is because my dad works out in the Middle East and can't obviously get bacon. So whenever I go out, I have to take actual bacon in my case.
Yeah, get him to go get the beef bacon. The beef bacon.
Smuggle bacon in.
It tastes like.
Wouldn't you be arrested and lashed for that?
No, it's.
No, you just
Yeah, go on.
you just strap it to the insides of your legs and just make it look like you've got really bad sunburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me.
And then totally buy that because you're Scottish. Sorry.
For me, it's different. I think in terms of like this is one of the things that I have a gripe about. I think religion and politics are kind of, you shouldn't mix unless you're Henry VIII, of course. And you know how that ended. But that's a bit of English history for those who don't know. If you want to know, then just read up on Henry VIII. But I played him as well in one of my first acting gigs when I was like 7. I played Henry VIII, and I was singing a song. I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. So yeah, the wonderful world of Burhan. The whole church governing political law is kind of the reason why, like in some of those Middle East countries, you see people living in freaking stone houses that have no electricity and no running water and stuff. Because
the world needs, or at least this country needs, a good Robin Hood again.
It's not that. I think I'm not going to go into the political thing again because I know a lot.
I'll say this about
viewers
church
don't like
intervening upon politics, which is sometimes when I read the newspaper, I do think, dear Archbishop of Canterbury, shut the fuck up. You don't know anything about politics, so keep your opinions to yourself.
That would be amazing, though, if there was just like in the Herald or something like that, or Guardian, just a big front page thing. Personal letter to the Archbishop. Dear Archbishop, shut the fuck up, Dave Wade.
I think Dave should
If I ever win the lottery, I'm going to take a full page ad out on that.
You know what? I still think Dave should be our next Prime Minister. I'll be like, your running mate. I'll be the deputy PM. I'll do everything when Dave's on holiday
You
or
wouldn't
golfing.
like it though, because I'd pull out of Europe. I'd pull out fucking the universe. I'd live on the moon with the Clangers. Oh, by the way, remake. Did anyone hear this? They're remaking the Clangers, and I'm actually really excited about this.
Gritty R-rated remake, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's no fucking air up here. I'm pissed off.
in a world
You just the camera pulls out and you just see it clanging from the back, and you don't know what he's doing.
Where
It
the
turns out he's
law
slashing on the Apollo landing.
You just see
is
Papa
lawless.
Smurf just like pumping one of the female clangers, and then there's just this massive war between the Smurfs and the clangers.
Yeah. Do you remember the episode of the episode?
Sounds like the plot line to Meet the Feebles.
Remember the young ones when Neil got so high he floated to the moon, and then the Clangers blew him back to Earth with a piece of dynamite? Oh, good times.
Yeah, they didn't like physics, did the young ones?
No. Oh, come back to life, Rick Mail. Not as a zombie, because we miss you.
Zombie Rick
Was it
Mail,
not?
that'd be hilarious. Rick Mail's trying to kill me.
I bought 2 zombie movies this week, and one is amazing and one is shit.
Okay.
I think you know this about me, Callum, don't you? I've got the zombie rule, which is I love zombies, so I always buy, if I see a new zombie movie, I buy it.
I'm a fan. I've still got my like scriptment of a zombie musical.
Nice.
I think it's the only thing that hasn't been done yet. I think you need to do a musical with zombies in it.
Couldn't you argue that
There's an Evil Dead musical.
There is an
I
Evil Dead
believe
musical, but that doesn't
and a Shaun of the
count.
Dead one coming as well.
That doesn't
shit.
count though, because they're basically like small little musicals put together by small companies, which is a good thing. Support independent. But for me, I think we need a cinematic musical film, which is a love story, which just has zombies in it.
On one, just the last note on musicals, can I say to if anyone gets a chance to go and see Reanimator the musical, go and see it.
Oh my
fucking
god!
Yeah, mate. Me and Martin from Ghastly Tales went and saw it, and it was the greatest thing ever. We sat down the front row, and there's like a splash zone at the front.
Got really high production.
It's pretty good. So we sat down the front, and for some reason there was like it was the two of us, and like it was all Americans in the front row. And basically they came down and they were doing like this surgery scene, and he takes the brain out, and he came down, and we were on the far right hand side, and he just stuck this brain in my hand.
Nice. Oh,
And he
please
made-
tell me you got a picture of this or something on your cell phone.
The thing is, I didn't have my phone out because they were literally pouring buckets of blood on people. Well, not real blood, obviously, but so I was kind of passing this.
Well, no,
brain.
if it was in Scotland, it would have been cheap, and therefore it would have been real blood, because real blood is.
Yeah, they just get a couple of guys in to just beat each other in the front
like
row.
Simpsons, you know, cats don't look like cats on TV. You
but-
have to tape a bunch of cows together.
But we started handing the brain down, and none of the other people in the front row would take it. So like
You take it,
keep
you
it.
bitch. You take that brain.
No, I didn't keep the brain, but I kept all the snap pencils from Herbert West. 'Cause he threw a snap pencil at me.
How good a prop was the brain? Was it soft and squidgy? I can't.
Oh,
believe
it was like a proper jelly brain.
amazing.
They'd obviously used like one of these jelly molds, but they hadn't just molded it with like regular jelly. They've got like some kind of like prosthetic grade gelatin, and it was fucking brilliant. And so this guy wouldn't take it off my friend, so he just launched it at his face. It was amazing. And one of the guys burst out laughing on stage.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was really well done, and it got
That's the opposite of audience participation, right there. You cross the streams.
That's it. Managed to break their fourth wall, but so yeah, basically I got absolutely covered in blood, and it was in Edinburgh, and I was trying to get back to Glasgow, and I missed the 1:30 bus because there was no way of getting on this. This is quite a good story actually, and this will probably tie into your English Scottish thing, but basically we couldn't get on the 1:30 bus because it was absolutely jam-packed, right? So I had to wait till 4 a.m. to get a bus, right? The musical finished at 12, right? So I had to wait for 4 hours. Then eventually we got on it, and there was this one guy that was English that got on the bus and was just like, he was going nuts because he turned up late, but he had a ticket, so he was like, oh, you know, one of you people were decent, you'd give up your seat for me, right?
What? Like
Right.
you're a lesser species or something?
Yeah, well, so basically no one would do it, so he was like, oh, you're a bunch of Scottish cunts.
Oh, what?
Right, so I was just
Please
like-
tell me someone in Glasgow kissed him.
Well, you see, this is the thing, right? Because this bus was all heading back to Glasgow, right? So no one gave me any trouble because I was sitting up the back covered in blood. And everyone was just looking at me as if to go, who the fuck is this guy? But anyway, someone gave him a seat, and then basically like we were driving up the road, and it was like the last chopper outside gone. People running across the street, like holding on to the bus, trying to get back. It was fucking crazy. And basically, like as soon as we got out, like on the motorway, there was this guy screaming up the back. It's like, turn the lights off! That guy's getting knifed. And it was shouting it all the way out, and the guy was properly panicking. So about halfway, he got the driver to pull off, and he got a taxi from the motorway to the airport. Because these guys were like literally getting held back from it. So it's like an hour by bus to get from Edinburgh to Glasgow, and it took 5 hours to get home.
I have a funny story about Edinburgh.
Oh yeah,
and
Edinburgh's
it-
shite.
Yeah. Well, no, it was just. I'm not making this up, right? When I had a real job and I used to travel between Ireland, London, and Scotland, like literally that was my 3 places I go each week to set up mobile networks for AGMs for businesses.
Did you do like a travel show?
No, unfortunately not. No, I had to sit there nervously and wait
sets up
for my
AGNs for businesses.
Yeah, I had to sit there
Imagine
and
you
wait
and
for-
Michael Palin.
Yeah. But only I've got better shorts because mine are camo. Yeah, no, I remember being in the RBS building, in Edinburgh, like downtown Edinburgh, like the big main office of RBS. And do you remember when? No, not RBS. Was it? I forget who was the one that had that. This makes me sound like a racist. The black dude who with a shaved head and glasses.
Yeah, Halifax.
Yeah, no, it was Halifax, but
Yeah,
they were subsidiary of RBS.
yeah, because then they made a cartoon version of him and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a very odd experience when halfway through your computers are all running nice, everyone's voting by proxy and shit like this. So I thought I'll go for a crafty slash, and because he was their poster boy at the time, he was dressed in a full suit next to me in the urinals, taking a piss, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm not going to say anything because I think you're a prick, but wow, you're actually humming your own theme tune. That's pretty fucking
I thought you were mean humming as in he smelled.
Yeah, no, he was humming his own theme tune. And I'll tell you this, he didn't wash his fucking hands.
Dirty pig. Unless he didn't actually pee. Unless he was just like, you know...
He pissed... I looked in Urano afterwards because he worked for them. He pissed pound coins.
Nice.
But I didn't touch them because I'm, hygienic. But
I wouldn't fucking touch... If someone pissed... I don't care if you shat pound coins, I wouldn't touch them.
Try it, right? It's a waste of £1. But I do it from time to time when I'm drunk in a pub just to see if there's a dirty... Well, we know there's a dirty fucker in the room because it's Bristol. But drop £1, right, in the urinal that's blocked and has piss in it, and go back 30 seconds later and it's gone.
You know in the urinals how you get like those pineapple cakes? What if you just like hollowed the centre one out and wedged the pound right in the middle of it?
I know, you know when you go... This can't believe we take this into piss territory. You know when you go into those, what I like to call cheap bars that have... a piss basin like a public toilet, which is just one long one.
They've kind of got a toilet just because they're legally obliged to.
I used to find it greatly amusing to piss on the pineapple cake and see how far I could move it.
Sometimes you had to see if you could do it with enough force to just blow them apart. That was also quite humorous. The benefits of having a penis.
I'll tell you what, people. Yeah, especially when it snows. I'll tell you what, right, and, think what you like of me for saying this out there, but the great strip club in the world is Wonders in Montreal, and they actually have, and it's a wonderful, tranquil experience, they actually have a waterfall in front of where you take a slash. I shit you not, the wall actually has cascading water down.
Is it recycled water, or...?
I hope it's not piss, but it really helps you go, though. You're like, what am I here for? Oh yeah, waterfall, I'm here for a slash. It really helps you if you've got a shy bladder.
There was a bar I was in recently that they didn't have urinals; they just had cubicles, and it was they were working on the.
Did you for a minute when you went in there? Did you for a minute get that panic attack and just go, "Oh Christ, I'm in the bird's bog, aren't I?"
Oh yeah, there was a thing initially where you just went in and you were just like, I'm not entirely sure this is a place for men, but I spoke to the guy at the bar and he was saying that psychologically they actually had less of a wait for the queue for the toilets because there wasn't just like a bunch of guys just standing around the urinals trying not to make eye contact going, come on B-stream, but like as soon as they went into the cubicle they had the little bit of personal space, fucking Ragnarok came firing out their bulb. But apparently he was saying as soon as they put some cubicles in,
suffers from a shy bladder. That would be you, wouldn't it, Burhan?
What's that?
I just imagine that you're a bloke who never suffers from shy bladder.
Yes, I do actually. I've got a thing where if I'm in the toilet, I was saying this to a friend of mine recently actually because I was explaining to her why I couldn't go like poop or pee in her place, and I'm only now okay with it, kind of. I still can't go poop in there. One, I don't do it in places that don't have air freshener because I have a lot of protein, so Two, I can't have people talking while I'm taking a shit or a piss. It's the most it's kind of
it's a basic. I agree with you, it's a basic human right.
No, but it basically, I could be pissing, right, and the moment someone says something, it's like whoop, it stops. It's stage fright, and it bugs the fucking shit out of me.
It's a strange thing as well, though, because especially when I don't know. There's just this thing you go up to, it and there's literally like a physical impasse stopping you from pissing. It's like I want to piss. I'm fucking desperate for a piss.
Ah.
Why can't I piss? Yeah. And sometimes there's not even
anyone
there either.
And you just suddenly go poof.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I can't piss out in the fucking street because I've seen people who do it, but I can't do it.
Well, because you shouldn't, Mr. Burhan.
No, but it's not just that. It's like no offense, we're animals. We can piss anywhere we want. But the
Bristol, you get you get fined.
Hey, R. Kelly pissed on someone's face and he got away with it.
Yeah, no, but what you do in your own home's up to you.
R. Kelly pissed on an underage girl, though.
Yes.
But trouble for it.
Oh.
R. Kelly's crazy.
Yeah, apparently he gave us some of his poo-poo bottle. Anyway, he is crazy. Oh, crazy R. Kelly pissing on teenagers.
Fucking, do you remember Trapped in the Closet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh Christ!
Jesus.
I actually still have it on my hard drive. Sometimes
Should I go
watch
for the
it just to-
closet? Should I go in the closet? I'm gonna go to the store. It was like literally,
But
it's a
I always
musical
loved it.
opera.
Like, within about 5 seconds, his first response was to just get the gun out.
Yeah.
It's just like, look,
Get my gun out.
let's be fucking reasonable. He says after just pulling out a gun.
Yeah.
I know.
He's
It
gonna
was
punch me in
trilogy,
the
wasn't it?
face. It does make me laugh because when I was watching that, it just showed it. You could see after the whole trial that he was kind of going mad. But the worst thing about it was people actually bought the album and the DVD because people
There's a
love.
shitload
Dave
of
Chappelle's
episodes.
piss take
as
of
well.
it where he
Yeah, it's
shits
like
on it.
28 episodes to the fucking thing.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's like his own audition reel. Maybe he was trying to get into Hollywood.
Yeah.
So yeah, I going back to the whole like toilet etiquette. There's a few things about toilet etiquette that I think people understand. Don't talk near the fucking door, and it happens. When I stay at my mum's house, I'm sitting there on the toilet and ready to take a dump, and then her and my brother are standing there in front of the fucking toilet door talking, and I'm like, guys, can you just go in the other room, please?
There's got to be a better place to have a conversation than outside the door with me.
Yeah, and I'm just like sitting there, and my butt clenches. I'm just like, oh, for God's sake, I need to take a shit. Move.
Do you know how you get those guys at clubs that kind of sit and that they work in the toilets and they're responsible for giving you
The
fragrances
yeah.
or lollipops or whatever, assuming you leave them a tip. There was one time I was in a club and I'd basically just been at a urinal and I was coming up, and the guy started making light conversation with me, and he was just like, "Did you have a good piss?" And I was like, well, "Did I have a good fucking piss?" It was like, it was a fucking piss. It was no better than any of my other pisses. So yes, I enjoyed it, but it was just like, imagine that as an opening line. Did you have a good piss? And for a second there, I got a little bit worried about where I was.
Yeah, it was just like, I'll show you. You've got a nice dick. I'll show you mine.
Yeah. But I tell you what, nothing was worse than there was one time actually where a group of us ended up going out, and there's this gay club in town, and there was a bunch of us ended up going with people. We ended up there, and they had perspex urinals.
Oh my god!
With a mirror above them, which apparently is one way. So I just went and I just I wasn't there for particularly long anyway, but I just went into the toilet. I was like, nah, it's alright, I'm going home. Fuck this noise.
I'm probably one of the only guys who went into a gay club and picked up the gay guy's girl mate who didn't want to be hit on by any guys. And yes, I checked that she was a girl because, Adam's apple, and there was nothing down there poking me.
Not at least till you got home. But
Hey, it's 2015. If you want to do that, that's cool.
Well, it wasn't in 2015 this happened. This happened in 2000.
But you're allowed to admit it now.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it was
one
it was
of my
funny.
personal pet peeves, right? That really, really annoys me, and I had a massive argument a couple of years ago with someone in my comment section, which is I despise the insult faggot.
But
just
faggot
annoys
is
me.
basically a nice crispy treat in Scotland.
Well, no, but
Yeah,
it
that's
was
true.
what annoys me was I was
Pork
arguing with
faggots,
this
you can
guy.
see them in a freezer.
Yeah, fucking
I was
amazing.
arguing with this guy who called me a faggot, and I said, "Well, piss off, you homophobic idiot!" And he just went, "I'm not homophobic. Some of my best friends are gay." And I'm like, "But you used the word faggot."
Mate,
so
I love wrapping a big, lovely, juicy faggot in my mouth. It's amazing.
real faggots or the little fake ones you buy from the supermarket.
Real faggots.
Yeah, because you can buy them from the butchers here.
Yeah,
and
as a
they're
kid, I used
glorious
to
sight
eat them
behold.
like constantly until I stopped eating pork. But I used to. When I ate them, I remember it was like pleasure in my mouth. It was like something just flowed all the way in there. It was like really juicy.
It's an interesting one, like you were saying there, is the power of swearing. I think in the UK, the power of swearing is a much kind of reduced thing. It definitely is here. I mean, like in Glasgow, we refer to groups of people as a group of cunts without meaning them that they actually physically are a bunch of cunts. It's just like, what are those cunts doing? It's just a collective term for people. The entire, the whole word has been, and the beauty of that is that if you use like fuck as punctuation, it takes all the effect out of it. You still, when someone tells you to fuck off, that they want you to fuck off. But at the same time, you've not got people immediately going, Jesus, I can't believe that they've just said that.
And I've come across a lot of people over time from other countries that kind of really, struggle with swearing. They find it quite difficult. But I think the best thing to
French
do is
Canadians can't swear for shit. They think the word tabernacle is offensive. Sorry, French Canada, but tabernacle. When I insulted you on the bus for not getting out my way when I carried my girlfriend's computer for fucking 15 stops, and I said, "For fuck's sake, Frenchie, get out the way." He took to me up and down just went tabernacle. I'm like, that doesn't sting at all, mate. Really.
Is that not a Lewis Carroll character?
Yeah. Tabernacle is basically a piece of the Holy Cross, so I should be massively insulted. To which I should have said now, in hindsight, which is, piss off, sugar tits. I ain't religious.
Well, the funny thing about it is, like, when you've lived in a household where your parents are constantly swearing in multiple languages and then ask you, why do you swear? My mum was like, who the fuck taught you how to swear? I have no idea, mother. It
It's
loses
like
all
take the
meaning.
moral high ground after you've just, fucking unleashed a torrent.
There's no moral high ground here right now.
It's actually quite funny because they would sit there and they would swear in Turkish, swear in Greek, swear in English, and then go back into Turkish again. So they would do it so you wouldn't pick any of it up. But I went to Cyprus and I learnt Turkish at the age of 5. Went over and my dad put me into English classes because he was worried that I was going to pick up what they were saying. So it kind of took all the Turkish out of me. I still remember some of the words, but not all of them.
After they took Turkish out of you, were you sore?
Yes, I was.
Sounds like some kind of exorcism.
Yeah. But it's
UKIP and that's what you'll get.
it's one of the reasons why I'm so well spoken. It's actually quite hilarious. But there was one time my dad was like, oh, fucking much. And I just sat there and looked at him with Dad. I was like, Dad, that's Greek for wanker. And my dad just like looked at me and went, how the fuck do you know that? I have Greek friends, Dad. But they used to swear like a blue streak. And I don't find anything offensive. People at
I just find the word bagger offensive when people defend themselves after and say, how dare you call me homophobic?
I think people are
well,
just
then
too
don't
sensitive.
use that.
At the end of the day, if you basically take the meaning out of the word, if you don't respond to the word, then it loses all power. Unless
whenever I read it, I kind of hear it in like the voice of like an old man from the 1950s.
Yeah.
From Middle America.
You dirty homosexuals sucking
Shake
each other's
harder,
knobs.
That's right. Oh, meeting up and shagging in the bushes.
No,
I see you dogging with Prince Philip. For me though.
Prince Philip, the world's most famous racist.
But it's one of those things you sit there like, do you know when you have that granddad in the corner who shits himself and swears constantly, like in Father Ted? You just sit there and go, oh, he's shitting himself and he's cussing again.
It's adorable. He didn't make it to the toilet on time.
Yeah, he's an adorable little racist with his depends. It has no meaning. There is no meaning to stuff like that. And I think people just got to stop being oversensitive. It's like now we're going PC crazy. People are like trying to get games taken off of Steam because, oh my god, it's senseless killing or it's senseless violence or...
You need to clarify that though, because you've said PC, then started talking about Steam. You need to clarify that PC is political correct, and we've not gone PC crazy and gone on Steam.
Yeah, no, it's PC correct. It's political correctness, and the problem is, it's like you're not allowed to say this because this is offensive to some people. You can't say it's offensive to another person. There's a thing called freedom of speech. You've got the right to say whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't mean if I'm going to approve of it or not. I remember when I was younger, you could say whatever the fuck you like, but in the end, you're going to suffer the consequences. Like, if I called my dad a fucking cunt, I would get a beating.
The problem is with all things, and it's like comedy. I remember my dad always said to me was that every joke is at the expense of someone or something.
Yeah.
And there's...
Do you know one thing that's sort of stuck in my mind about, and when I try to explain to people why the young ones were so pioneering, and because I had an argument with a friend at work was saying the young ones is racist, and like you missed the point of that particular joke. It was actually highlighting the fact that at that specific time in England, the police were racist bastards. It wasn't about being offensive; it was about highlighting something, and that's the joke when the policeman rings. The policeman comes up to the guy ringing the doorbell. That wants to tell the person they've won a brand new Ford Tip-X, and he's like, "Oi there, Mr. Sambo Darky Coon. That's white man's electricity you're burning." And he goes, "Sorry," and then he lifts his sunglasses up and goes, "Oh, sorry, I thought you was a nigger." And it's like, it was brilliant. It was why one BBC was still way ahead of their time, because it wasn't making a pointless joke to be offensive. It was actually highlighting this is the police right now to black people.
Yeah, it's basically a subject of the time in a sense. And I was sitting there talking to someone.
I don't condone.
Recently.
By the way, people out there in listening land, I do not condone that word.
No, but I had someone recently talking to me about like why I don't find someone calling me like people calling me, for instance, an Arab cunt or anything as kind of a racist thing to me, because I sit there and go, okay, you looking at me, I've got brown skin, lovely. Or what else have you got? You know, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna swear at me, make yourself feel good, think you've done right, white is right, and all that shit. But in the end, you've got a history. We've all got a history. We're all fucking immigrants when it comes down to it. So in the end, you sitting there yelling at me and cussing me just shows that you're an ignorant twat. That's it. You know, there's no. If I don't let it like affect me, then it's not going to affect me, and you lose because you haven't got my back up.
You shall not pass.
Exactly, Gandalf. You shall not pass. And, you know, in the end, the funniest thing about Ian McKellen is when he went on that talk show and goes, I love to go to the clubs and I like to be a bit of an old queen. Best thing ever. You know, a guy who's got such a bellowing voice can probably suck cock like a fire engine. It's just one of those things, you just got to look at the way that you deal with things. If it doesn't affect you, then there's no power to it. And you just got to let it go, you know, like in the words of Frozen, let it go. And then
so basically, it's the end of Nightmare on Elm Street, and you take the power back from Freddy.
Yeah, that's it.
If you don't believe in swearing, it loses its power.
It does. It loses its meaning, and the whole thing about it. My dad, like, again, I'm descended from like Turks, Moguls, and Persians. Most of these people were very racist to anybody who weren't them, you know. Also, they used to love to shag goats. Just putting that out there.
So you were descended from the Welsh as well, then?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Well, I descended from farm people, Arabs who liked buggery, because a lot of these guys are closet gays. Believe it or not, you know, you had like Saudi princes. Remember that whole.
Even though that's illegal.
Yeah, even though that's illegal, they do it. You know, there was even a news thing that came out about the fact that they were legally running a camel fucking run thing, and they were using kids as jockeys, and most of these kids were being like little boys that are being buggered by basically most of these Saudi guys. It's ridiculous. It's
there's a real dark side actually to I mean that's what I was saying. I lived out in Dubai for 9 months, and even especially there, like it's fucking absolute vice capital for them. Because they all come there because the laws are less lenient, and yeah, it's a bit of a hypocrisy, but hey, we can't pretend that there's not problems here as well.
No, but that's the thing, everything's kind of hypocritical, but in the end, I've always said it, when it comes down to it, if you let things affect you, then they're going to affect you. If you don't, then they won't. And the guy that's trying to pearl that abuse and be mean to you is going to lose. You know, I
was snappy, you're right.
Yeah. It's in the end, he's still going to be the sad cunt who has no life, who tries to take pleasure out of bullying and harassing someone else, when in the end you're going to be the person who's moves on with your life and does well for yourself. It's
be the bigger man.
Exactly, and by far I am the
bigger man.
Gentlemen,
welcome to the deep edition of Burhan and the Boy.
I know. I think unfortunately on that note, I'm probably going to have to leave you.
I have one more question for you though before you leave.
Okay.
Please explain to me why the Doctor who was actually Scottish but not allowed to be Scottish, David Tennant, was amazing, but the Doctor who is Scottish and is allowed to be Scottish, Peter Capaldi, is shit.
He's not shit.
Right, well, mate, back up. Back the fuck up. Peter Capaldi is one of the best Doctor Who's that's ever come into existence. Matt Smith was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi is a fucking absolutely fantastic actor.
Touch upon Tennant.
Do you know what, I will say this, right?
Do you know what? Do you know the biggest problem? Every fucking episode, bar maybe one or two, that he's been given writing-wise have been fucking shit.
Yeah, and do you know what the thing about it as well? If you look at Matt Smith and you look at Tennant, they're basically carbon copies of Christopher Eccleston.
Yep.
right?
No, they're not.
They
Eccleston had balls, and it was just like an angry northerner. Tennant
No,
was
but he had
linguistic.
no, but he was also very kooky. Tennant puts the kookiness up like freaking 10%, and then Smith becomes very childish in terms of that.
Well, Matt
kookiness.
Smith was catering to a largely female, young teenage demographic, I think.
But you know, Capaldi
Well, he did
is
have
the first.
lovely Amy Pond.
Capaldi brings the Doctor back to old school. type
Oh
of
yeah,
Doctors.
she's pretty nice. I do like Karen
The
Gillan.
greatest Doctor in the world, who is technically the longest running Doctor, but still that has the least screen time Doctor, is Paul McGann.
I loved
That's
his
true.
Doctor.
Paul
And he-
McGann was good, but on the topic of Karen Gillan, by the way, she's fantastic to look at, but she's a terrible actress.
Oh yeah. That's what you.
I'm not really worried about her acting skills, I'm not going to lie.
She's one of our best exporters, I would agree.
But I will say, in terms of Capaldi, I think he's going to get a lot better. They just need to write better fucking shit for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's shit hot. I think you need to reassess your opinion of that,
I
mate.
agree. Because you know
I'll
what? I
reassess
think
it. I'm still
me and Callum here,
forcing
we're
myself
more
through.
trained in the School of Thought style. I'm an actor-director, so I can see what Capaldi's doing. I can see what he's trying to do with the character. The writing,
Have you
I
ever
agree.
seen In the Thick of It, Dave?
Plus, he looks like my boss. Really, he looks like my boss, and I hate my boss, so there might be a pinch of that in
No, but he looks
All right.
sinister. He looks like the kind of Doctor that would go over the wagon. You know, if he was
Yeah.
forced to go over the line, he could do. And that's the big thing about it, is you look at that and think, is he going to turn or isn't he? Is he going to be a fucking...
Is he going to just slash somebody in one episode?
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's got this whole morality thing going on, and I love it. I think it's the great thing about him. But I do agree the fact he has been given some shit to work with, but I think he's worked really well with what he has to
So who's
has to
the
do.
writer right now?
It's one of the... Is it not the one that everyone's trying to fucking lynch anyway, get rid of?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we? So basically, we should go back to Moffat then.
Does he not? I don't think any of them are perfect, to be honest.
No, I think they understand who the Doctor is. They just don't understand how to change the Doctor with the times. And the problem is, I think with the current...
episode of modern Doctor Who is an episode that was made as a filler. Pay attention, North America. Made as a filler, deliberately, because he was filming scenes for other episodes at the same time, and the Doctor is hardly in it. The greatest modern episode of Doctor Who is Blink.
Is that the one with the sheet? With the kind of... Wait, is that...
The Angels.
Oh, right, aye, right, okay, I know the one you mean.
The amazing Easter egg in the DVD.
But I will
But
say,
then again-
you know, in terms of that, the current season, the reason why it was so bad was because they kind of shoehorned a love interest just for the fact that this guy was going to be a MacGuffin for the end of like the season anyway, before the Christmas special.
Plus, every companion needs to have some kind of relationship romantically with the Doctor now as well.
Yeah, and
Seems
she
to be
didn't.
something they've crammed in.
And it was never like that in the good old days.
Yeah, because the Doctor's seen as forbidden fruit, isn't he? In a sense.
Well, he's kind of he's an alien as well.
Yeah.
But also, he doesn't really express any kind of, sexual interest.
He's
Well,
like
that's
an
one thing
introvert.
I will say, which annoyed me about Tennant, which, even though I love Tennant, I was just going to say what she was Billy Piper.
Yeah, but she was like, in the end, she just kept doing bad impersonations of Tennant. You know, it was literally the whole smile thing and teeth. You know, pretend.
In her defence, her teeth aren't her fault.
No, but overacting in terms of her character, because she would overact on purpose. And you looked at it, it was like, it's not funny. Stop doing that. That's not how a normal person reacts to things. You look like a fucking mental patient.
That's a fair point. Have you ever seen In the Thick of It, Dave?
I have, and I have to say I do really, really like that.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You see, this was when I heard Peter Capaldi was going to be Doctor Who. I was like, can you imagine if they let him have the same freedom he had as Malcolm Tucker as Doctor Who? Can you imagine a Doctor Who just coming out and telling a Dalek to fuck off? It'd be amazing. That's what Doctor Who needs.
Yeah, but I think the teen demographic would get really pissed off.
Cunt.
That's right,
You know,
he's in the middle of sorting something out and they're creeping up and he's just like, look, we just fuck off for a minute. This is really complicated.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as I said, he's they've made it a lot darker as well. So
maybe it's not his fault then. I'm finding it difficult to find his charms right now. Is all I'm saying. I'm still working on it.
The thing is, I like it. I like a Doctor that has more character to him because he's got this constant struggle with what's right and wrong at the moment.
I like a Doctor when I book an appointment. It doesn't take me 2 weeks to get one. So
they've written him some quite good lines though. Even though some of the episodes haven't been good, he's had some pretty fucking good comebacks, and
there's been some really good moments.
That's my 8th Doctor's sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, that's aka his vibrator.
I own 4 sonic screwdrivers, and I'm fucking proud of that fact.
He means vibrators, and he fucking loves to shove them up his anus.
Yeah, they're all kind of ridged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've seen Burhan, right? If you've seen look it up. If you've seen the 8th Doctor's sonic screwdriver, I don't give a shit if you got an ass like a fucking volcano. You ain't getting that up there. All right.
I was going to say, are you bigger on the inside or?
Yeah.
Oh God, what have I started?
We should let you go.
Burhan and the Boy After Dark.
Yeah. Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you, Calum.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
And you're always welcome. And get Mike on it. And also ask Mike.
I've added him.
My book?
Mike is editing a short film, I believe, at the moment. So he's just done one of his first ones on his own for years. So I'm quite interested to hear how that turns out. So I think he's knee deep in that.
Can we be on one of your streams as guests one day?
I'm sure we will be able to sort that out if we can pretend we've got
and play the game with the hat and all the pieces of paper in it, because I like that one.
You know what? We will definitely try and get some interaction, but join us in the chat sometimes, because we're gonna.
The problem is you normally do it, and I can't. I have to watch it when it's not live, because you usually run it when me and Mr. Burhan are doing Slamcast.
When do you do that?
Friday nights.
8 p.m. Friday nights ET, which is 1 a.m. GMT.
I think we did. The last one was a Saturday, I think, that we did. The next one I think will be a Saturday.
I missed that one.
Well, I will try and make the next one a Saturday.
Cool. So guys,
but then the problem with that is you got to do it before I got gameplay.
Well, guys, let's say bye-bye to Calum. Calum, do you have a YouTube channel that you want to promote?
By all means, it's Ghastly Tales. You can maybe throw a link up or whatever. Previously Air Shifty Bun, now Ghastly Tales.
And can I just quickly say before you piss off, to people out there to understand, how I know Calum, Mike, Alan, originally Area Shifty Bun,
which is still alive, but which is not
basically
active.
like my 4th subscriber to my channel, and yeah, I've known them for a very long time, and they're wonderful people. So go and check out Ghastly Tales, because it's a bucket full of sexy biscuits.
Thank you very much.
Very much so. And ladies and gents, you can find Dave at youtube.com/LawnBoysPost1975. I will love to say fuck you, Warner Music Group, for freaking causing a fuss over 25 view video, for God's sake.
Can I ask, by the way, was it a cover, or did you actually just post it? It's not just you singing the song.
No, it's a remixed version of a song by Air,
right,
which was basically done for the movie Lost in Translation.
I was kind of hoping it was like a cover you'd done where you were singing it yourself, and they were trying to get it down to just actually like save people the.
Yeah. They were actually doing people
it's basically a song that's been out for years, and it's also been covered. It's been remixed by several other people. Into this
free usage.
So, it becomes
Lost in Translation says.
Yeah, it becomes free license because it becomes kind of a parody work. The original work's still there, but it's not ingrained. So I basically disputed the claim, and what they're trying to do is they gave me a strike because I'm not allowing them to take my video to monetize it. But I've said to them, I went, it's transitional. So we've got our stuff, then you have a little audio clip in there which is from that song, and then we go back into talking. So they have no right to fucking try and take the video when it's not their content. So I've basically tweeted them anyway and told them like they're fucking morons. And I've basically said to them, I've signed over and said, right, okay, I've disputed the strike, and I'm also saying take me to court, because if you really want to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars taking me to court over
if they win, Burhan, you'll have to sell all your amiibos.
Well, not really, because they won't do it. They won't take me to court. The channel will be
They do take you to court. Send your amiibos to my house so I can scan them all and look after them.
They'll be like your children, my precious.
What if they make you stay in like a glass container and sing the song for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
My amigos.
In a urinal where there's a one-way mirror above you.
Yeah, that's right, in a gay club in Glasgow. There you go.
YMCA. I did that for
Again, quickly before you fuck off, Calum, I have to say this based on the stereotypes of Glasgow and stuff like this. I would have thought that you were such a manly city that no one would actually admit they were gay.
Oh no, we do have gay people. They're just very aggressive.
Dad, I found a gay porno in your room.
That's brilliant. That's what we need to fix homophobia.
Dad, is there something
We just
you need
need
to
gay
tell
people
me?
to be really aggressive.
Yeah,
That'll fix all
really
this.
aggressive gays. That's what you need. They'll be
Just
like,
out destroying each other.
yeah, angrily drilling each other's anuses. So there you go, guys. If you can find me on youtube.com.
There's an image.
youtube.com/thenerdgenius. You find Dave on youtube.com/lawnboyspost1975. Big thank you to Calum here as well, and we will see you
awesome,
next.
Calum. Seriously, thank you very much.
We'll see
My
you
pleasure.
same time, same place, same channel for Burhan and the Boy, episode 8. So we'll see you again, and thank you for joining us.